This is GARIS Masculist MGTOW flyers. That is 2 3-page essays on the themes of masculism and MGTOW, written by and read aloud by Prof. Dr. Hugo de Garis. This is flyer number 90, entitled "Should a Twaytweffer's girlfriend be a FIP?" Description: this flyer argues that twaytweffing is superior to twapping, that is, having a relationship with a fluffie, keeping 2 apartments. Flyer itself. Should a Twaytweffer's girlfriend be a FIP? I've been playing devil's advocate with myself the past few days, wondering whether it is strictly necessary for a woman to be a FIP in order that a man will be willing to twaytweff with her. In other words, should a man twaytweff with a fluffie? First, some definitions for readers who are not familiar with the above terms. A FIP, that's FIP, is a financially independent person, the type of woman masculists demand that women be. Otherwise, masculists refuse to have anything to do with them. A masculist is a men's libber, rebelling against the traditional male role of being a manslave to a parasitic fluffie. A fluffie is a traditional woman who expects to be able to parasite off a man's money. Twaytweffing, in parentheses 2A, 2F, equals 2 apartments, 2 FIPs, is a relationship between a FIP man and a FIP woman, each with their own apartment, so that when the relationship fails, as nearly all do, they both return to their own apartment, cost-free. There's no divorce because no marriage, no child support from the man because no kids, no alimony because the woman is a FIP. Twaytweffing is a popular lifestyle with many MGTOWs, that's men going their own way, refusing to marry and refusing to have kids, spending their money on themselves, because they are fed up with our gynocentric society, and especially the toxicity of the divorce courts for men, where roughly 1 married father in 4 would be financially massacred in the divorce courts, losing his kids, his house, paying child support and alimony to a fluffy ex-wife, perhaps for life. Twaytweffing has the considerable advantage for a MGTOW masculist in that he gets regular sex from a woman, plus the considerable advantage that the threat that he can always walk away from the relationship so easily keeps the woman in fear that she must always be nice to him. Otherwise, he can so easily end the relationship at no cost to him. But couldn't a Twaytweffer man have a similar relationship with a fluffie? Strictly speaking, by definition, the woman must be a FIP. Otherwise, the man is not a Twaytweffer, because having a relationship with a fluffie would make him a 2A1F-er. But that's taking the letter of the law. What about having 2 apartments and getting the regular sex that he needs, but with a fluffie? And if she starts manifesting fluffy attitudes, that is, nagging him to give her money, nagging him to have a kid with her, etc., then he could dump her just as readily as he could dump a female FIP. Yes, he could. And so in practice, I can imagine a lot of men will choose to do something like this, so perhaps a new label might be useful at this point. Since the essence of the idea of twaytweffing is having 2 apartments and having a relationship that can be easily stopped, cost-free to the man, then how about twapping? The twapping lifestyle, that is the 2A, 2 apartment lifestyle, that is no moving in together. So twapping may be quite popular with a lot of guys. I remember decades ago, in my 20s, living in Cambridge, England, the guy upstairs to me, who is now a famous mathematician, had a real fancy for his dishy girlfriend, who must have been 50 IQ points dumber than him. He liked her curvy body and her cunt and nothing else. She used to complain bitterly in tears, "You don't love me," which was true. My first wife and I could hear her cries from the apartment above. He told us, I really fancy her, and that was fully understandable because she was deliciously fuckable. But by twapping, as they both did, he was able to walk away cost-free, once her nagging really got in his nerves and her greatly lower intelligence began to bore him more than he liked her cunt. But there are distinct disadvantages with twapping. If the woman is a fluffie, then twapping might work for a few years when the woman is in her 20s and her biological clock is not ticking hard because she knows she has maybe a decade more of reproductive life ahead of her. So there's no rush to find a robot male manslave to pay for a middle-class house that she can raise her kids in. Twapping with a childless woman in her 30s is decidedly dangerous. She may know you are a conscious ideological twapper, a masculist, a MGTOW, and resent you for it. She may lie to you about the pill and accidentally get pregnant and give the genocentric men unfair gender laws given the genocentric men unfair gender laws, you as a male will be screwed. You will be financially massacred. You could always use a condom and flush it immediately down the toilet so as not to be sperm jacked, as so many desperate women in their 30s do to have a baby. A fluffie will nag you if you are a trapper and she's in her 30s. When you dump her because of that, she may turn really hostile towards you because she realizes that she may remain poor because you're never going to give her any money to have a kid with. Twaytweffing is superior to twapping because the woman will have a different attitude towards men because she's a FIP. She has made the effort to educate herself into a career-competent field and makes good money. When the Twaytweff relationship ends, she will not have the financial existential fear that a fluffie would probably have, because the FIP knows she can take care of herself financially, whereas the fluffie will be forced to abandon any hope she has of extracting money from her twapping ex-boyfriend. Also, a Twaytweffing boyfriend will have more respect for his FIP girlfriend. She is much more likely to be his equal in many respects, so he admires her more than a fluffie. A FIP male who twaps with a fluffy woman just for the sex and her good looks will respect her less because of her fluffy lifestyle, her fluffy parasitic attitudes towards men. The twap relationship will thus be more fragile and more likely to fail, which can create emotional suffering. A Twaytweff relationship will be more egalitarian, more respectful, and hence more likely to survive and be successful. So, in my book, some men may choose to twap, but it's riskier than Twaytweffing, so I recommend the latter. Cheers. Prof. Dr. Hugo de Garis. profhugodegaris@yahoo.com. Website profhugodegaris.wordpress.com. YouTube channel name de Garis, Masculist, MGTOW. Flyers. Ciao.